How are you, Joe?
True. Good? I'm very good, thanks.
I can't even imagine what kind of task it would be to bring one of the most loved, most American comic book characters of all time to the big screen. A, what an enormous task, and B, where do you even start?
I started with 30 weeks of prep. I had a lot of prep. Yeah, I had a lot of time to get the story right with the help of the writers and the Marvel guys, and design all this cool stuff and build the toys, and it was great. It was had a lot of support and a lot of fun.
So the visual language of the film is very potent. Obviously, this is something that's quite important to you.
Well, as far as the period goes, and yeah, I mean, I love the period of the 30s and 40s, and it's you know, I'm sort of a throwback into that golden age of, you know, America. I love it.
So the detail that went into the design of all these things, I'd imagine you worked, as you said, you worked really hard on this stuff.
We were very careful not to let anything go through the lens that did not belong in 1940s, in our heightened reality of 1940s.
Right. When you watch these Marvel films, there's always that great moment that Stan Lee turns up.
I know. The
creator of Marvel. Can you take us through, how do you work, at what point do you think, now this would be a good thing for Stan? How do you work him in?
Well, you know, there are always a few choices for Stan, but I really wanted to see Stan as a retired U.S. Army general. We called him General Half Track when we were shooting, but Stan's a lot of fun. He came in and you know, we gave him his line. He wanted to make it longer, of course, but we had a great time with him. He was a lot of fun.
It seems like it seems easier to make a film about just killing Nazis than it does to make a film about, say, for example, an issue around today.
Well, Nazis are the universal villain. You know, there's only 3 Nazis in the movie, you know, and Red Skull takes them out in that one scene. But you know, you can kill Nazis and they're offshoots with impunity. Nobody really cares, you know.
Right. So, because was it easier to make movies when there was just one bad guy?
Well, movies like this, you know, movies of this size are actually easier to make than were in a film where you have a lower budget and everyone has to do 3 jobs, because they let me hire the brightest and the best and the most highly paid professionals, and I had a lot of great support making this film.
There's more than one tip of the hat to Indiana Jones in this film. Is that
there's a couple. There's a couple.
Is that a shout out to your mate George?
Yeah, sure, of course, George and Stephen. Yeah, the moment where when Johann Schmidt says the Fuhrer digs for trinkets in the desert, that's a pretty clear reference to Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah.
But for people that don't know, what role did those gents have in you being here today at the helm of this colossal film?
Well, George, I worked for George for 10 years. He put me through film school, and I credit Stephen with getting me into this business after seeing Jaws. I just decided that that's what I wanted to do. I was a product designer before that, and designing toasters and things like that, and I was pretty sick of it. I said, I'd rather be doing that.
My word, that is quite a career leap, my friend.
Yeah, it is. It's quite a corner to turn.
Obviously, the role of Captain America is one of the more coveted things for an actor in Hollywood. What was the competition like?
Well, Chris had actually turned it down a couple of times, and we screen tested about 12 different actors, and we always felt like we were settling for someone else if we didn't have Chris, because we had envisioned him in the role of Captain America, and to then unenvision him was almost impossible to do. So we just kept after him. We invited him in, showed him the artwork, told him how great he'd look in the suit, and all of Chris's friends told him he'd be the biggest idiot in history if he turned the job down. So he eventually came around, and I'm glad he did, because we couldn't have cast it any better.
And our own Hugo Weaving is one of the best baddies
fantastic.
For a while.
He is the best. He is the best. He gets to play himself wearing a mask that looks like Hugo Weaving, and he gets to pull that mask off and play Red Skull with Hugo Weaving underneath, of course. But it was, yeah, he did a great job, and I know he was miserable inside that mask, but he never complained. He was in the thing for 12 hours a day sometimes.